Do we believe, this one says 6:30, my computer says 6:30. We're gonna start the meeting.
He's ready.
Except we have to wait for Cameron to sit. There we go, okay. I will call the Planning Commission meeting of North St. Paul together. September 4th. It's time to begin. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Rathe,
Here.
Commissioner Gadbois,
Here.
Commissioner Wise,
Here.
Commissioner Muhic.
Here.
Oh, Stephanie,
Here.
I gotta work on that, I apologize. And Commissioner Blees,
Get mine.
Fine.
thank you. And Commissioner Alvarez is absent, for the record.
Excellent, thank you. We have an agenda in front of us for this. I would entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Commissioner Rathe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Wise. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Approval of minutes from the 7th of August meeting. I had them on my computer, but I don't anymore. They're floating around here. I would entertain a motion for approval of meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Commissioner Rathe, second.
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Gadbois. Any discussion or revision or anything? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None. Meeting is open to the public. I don't know if there's any public speaking not associated with the agenda. So we will pass right by item 5, Zoom. We're going fast. It's time for public hearings, officially. Item A on the public hearings is Cowan Elementary School's conditional use permit amendment and site plan. Staff report?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members of the commission, as you introduced, this is a public hearing to consider a conditional use permit amendment request and site plan approval for Cowan Elementary School. The site aerial photo is up on the map, and I will be clicking through a variety of maps this evening because there's a lot to show you. This is, again, the site of the school. The areas that are proposed for major changes with this project include expansion of the parking lot, north parking lot off of south, additional spaces here with a change of driveways. There are now 2. There will be 1 in this plan. Addition of a bus staging parking area here coming in off of Margaret. The primary addition to the school is this area here, and we'll get some better plans to show that there. That part of the plan later, and a smaller addition here, and then some other improvements inside the building, including some security functions and changing bathrooms and some other wall movements, changes, those kind of things. The proposal, if approved, the school district's plan is to have it out for bid later this year, start construction next spring, and going through in phases through August of 2028. Little background, little history that I found in the files is back on May 4th of 2021. The council adopted a resolution approving a conditional use permit amendment for an addition out on the front of the school, which was only 1,750 square feet, and it included the nurse's office, principal's office, reception area, and a conference room. So that was the last action before the city at that time. All right, let's go to a different map. Go to the zoning map. This is the zoning map of the area. Hello, Jason. Oh. And related to that is the comprehensive plan. That's the first part of this. The comprehensive plan and the zoning map both show this planned and zoned, the entire property R1 single-family residential, or in low-density residential in the comp plan, which, not surprisingly, is intended for single-family uses, duplexes, and townhomes left after the result of older infill housing. The comprehensive plan, the 2040 plan that we're currently using, does not have a separate future land use designation for schools or institutional uses, which could also be churches or even public facilities. And so typically they have been included in the R1 or low-density designation, as is this school, and I think most all the other schools in North St. Paul are. As a sidebar, that's something we may want to think about when we do the 2050 comp plan, is do we want to add an institutional land use designation for schools, public facilities, cemeteries, but, maybe not cemeteries. Something to ponder. Some cities do that, some don't. But to me, it's a more accurate reflection of what's really on the ground and the way the land is going to be used. Not relevant for tonight, because under the 2040 plan, again, all the other schools are in the single-family designation, and this one as well. Again, the zoning is R1, single-family, and in that zoning district, schools are a possible land use subject to approval of a conditional use permit, and thus the application. The code has 10 findings for the city to make to approve a conditional use permit or a conditional use permit amendment, as is this case. And in summary, I'm not going to read all 10 findings, but this project with the addition for the school and the changes to the site plan do meet all those criteria. It's an existing school, and they're amending the plan and frankly making it hopefully a lot better. The lot requirements in the R1 district, again, don't really apply since it's a 11-acre site used for a school and not a single-family home, so it meets, the plans meet all the setback requirements for that. The one thing I want to point out, and it shows pretty well here, is the school and the school district, the site of the school, and this I think shows it too, even better, is currently 4 separate properties. There's 1, 2, a big one, and there's 3, and then this one. And it's staff's recommendation that as part of this process, the school district combine all those into one property for tax ID purposes, so we don't have random property lines running through the middle of a parking lot here or the middle of a parking lot here, that kind of thing. And that's one of the conditions I'm proposing. As far as site and design review, we have standards in the code for that as well. There are 9 points that the plans are meant to meet, or standards they need to meet. And again, in very quick summary, the proposed plans do meet those. We'll go into those now in a little more detail. So this shows turning movements, which was a concern of Ramsey County, and how this shows how vehicles can get in and out. And especially important, the buses have room here to sneak their way through. I'm no engineer, but this appears to me to meet their standards, and our engineer is satisfied with that, so I'm not concerned about it. The next image,
So can I ask a question about that image that you were just showing?
the turning movement?
Yeah,
Certainly. This one?
yeah, so
Yes, sir.
the parking lot that's behind the school, does that look like there's, basically 3 rows, 2 halves on each end, and 2 full rows in the center with
We got one.
face to face?
There's a row here, double row, and then a single row, and then this acts as a drive aisle to go all the way around.
That's where they do all the child pickup in the afternoon.
The parents pick up, yep.
And so the intent is to get more of the vehicles off of South and off of Margaret in their staging.
Going along with that idea, was there any idea about possibly putting in a turn lane for vehicles, a right turn lane there? I know that would push the parking lot back a little bit, but that would give vehicles an extra area to queue that they'd be off the street.
You know, when Ken is done with his presentation, then we can ask him.
Okay, thank you.
And we did
Sorry,
send this to Ramsey County for their comments, because South Avenue is a county road, County Road B in the rest of the county. They were concerned about vehicle movements and staging. They did not say that they thought a turn lane was necessary in this case. But the school district team can talk about that as well. Moving on to, excuse me, the site, this is the site plan. I'll try to stay on this most of the night. I'll try to zoom in a little bit. All right, so this shows again the change to the parking lot on the north. This driveway will now be widened and have 2 exit lanes and 1 ingress lane. The other driveway that's in place now goes away. This is the expanded parking lot here, again in the gray. The new bus staging area, which can also be used for parking for vehicles and for concerts and events at nights when the buses aren't there. And there's some numbers included in the table on page 10 of the packet, which is page 4 of this report about the number of parking spaces. This shows the primary addition, I would call it here, and then the smaller addition that's proposed out here. So back to the parking. By the way the city code is written, the school should have at least 115 parking stalls, and they are showing on 118 with this lot that's already existing to the south down here, the expanded parking lot here, and there's an additional 54 shown here for what I call overflow or night events. So definitely an improvement on their off-street parking. And my experience has been no city wants, I don't think a school district wants, to build such a big parking lot for the 3 events a year when grandma and grandpa come and there's the choir concert or whatever. That's too much parking for those few events a year. So this is an improvement, but yeah, there still will be times that there's street parking, but I'm confident it'll be a lot better than what's currently there. So that's parking. Landscaping, we'll touch on that. And then we've got find that sheet. Oh, did I go too far? Come on. There we go, landscape plan. I summarized in the report the plans would remove 34 existing trees, and they are proposing to plant 36 trees and 2 shrubs throughout the site. So replacing a little more than what would be removed, and of course, some of those trees are on the parking lot, and so they have to be taken out to expand the parking lot. The only comment I had is one of the proposed species is a blue diamond spruce, which is similar to a Colorado blue spruce. And my experience has been that Black Hill spruce do better than Colorado here, so I'm recommending that be changed. And then the city engineer pointed out one that's one proposed tree in the northwest corner of South Avenue, of the South Avenue parking lot, which I think would be up in here, would be over the storm sewer and near a city storm, sanitary sewer line, so that will have to be moved. But again, these are changes that they can make in the final design, and then they'll all be subject to staff review and approval. Screening is another element that we look at as part of the code, and what that requires is any rooftop mechanical units on the building or the addition should not be visible from adjacent streets or public rights of way. I couldn't tell from the drawings if there are any new ones that would be visible, and I'm just recommending a condition that they provide plans documenting that they're not there or they're not visible from the streets. I don't think that should be a problem. One big change, another important change I should say, is the plans are adding an infiltration or filtration basin here for stormwater purposes, and that will clearly be a big improvement for stormwater and the natural features. And the final design of that will be subject to the watershed districts and the city engineer's approval Watershed District has completed their initial review. They have some comments about the plans that they have provided to the applicant. Again, my reading of them, and nothing looked too scary or frightening, that they should be able to make whatever changes need to be made. As part of our review, we look at outdoor lighting. They are proposing some light fixtures in the parking lot. There is a photometric plan, which is very hard to read at this level, and I'm not going to put it on the screen. But generally, it meets the standard of being less than 0.4 foot candles at the property lines as required by code. The thing I could not pick up from the plans is the type of light fixtures on the poles and the height of the poles. And so I'm suggesting or recommending that information be submitted to staff for final approval through the review process. There is fencing on the site now. I'm going to go back a plan sheet. That some of that will be changed and moved in part because of this ponding area here. The fence now runs something like this line here, and it's going to be shifted around here to not cut through the ponding area. And that's makes sense. You want to keep the balls and the kids out of the filtration basin. And staff's recommending that the chain link fencing be black or green vinyl coated. And then the engineer is recommending a 16-foot wide access gate in the fencing. They were proposing 10 feet, I believe, and that will allow for maintenance equipment to get into this ponding area for cleaning out or doing whatever work needs to be done. And that's one of the conditions that the engineer is recommending. The sidewalk, there are sidewalks along South and Margaret, and those are all staying. There will, of course, be some changes internally with new sidewalks. The parking area does show a sidewalk going all the way out to South in this location, and then a variety of sidewalks to get into and entrances. There is an entrance here and a sidewalk, then going down the South, and that gets removed and comes out to this new sidewalk here along the bus parking facility. Architectural materials, Patrick's favorite. Let's get to those. Here we go. I'm not going to go through all the plans, but the elevations are the most important in this. I'm going to try to zoom in. The colors will pop. There we go.
One of those is actually your chiller, as you were describing on the HVAC coverage, which is on this list.
What about it?
You said one of them is for the HVAC?
Yep.
It's already on this list.
Oh. This shows the addition, well, again, the cafeteria addition on the front. This is the east side, and the view of the large addition out to the south and west corner. Best I can tell, the colors and materials are compatible with the existing building. I didn't find a detail, and maybe I missed it, on the exact colors or the exact block type or material type. And the summary, the overall design is consistent with our architectural standards and our requirements in the code, and I don't foresee a problem with that. I think I have a condition in the proposed resolutions that, again, detail about that. And then the chiller, there's the chiller enclosure here, which again is consistent with the other materials. So with all that said, staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit amendment for Cowern Elementary School at 2131 Margaret Street North, and the site plan approval for the same project. And with your, in your packet, there's a draft resolution that will be included for the council for the conditional use permit amendment, and there's a draft resolution for the site plan approval. Those are on pages 43 and 46. No. Yeah, in the packet after all the plans. The conditional use permit approval amendment, we're recommending subject to 7 conditions that are in the resolution. The site plan approval has a total, if I counted correctly, 31 conditions of approval. Most of those are revising plans for staff approval, engineer approval, watershed district approval, getting all the necessary permits that are needed before they start construction. One thing we're also proposing is that they have a pre-construction conference with city staff, project engineers, city engineer, invite the county, get everybody in the room at one time to talk through the project before they break ground. And so that's included in that. So staff's recommendation is to, we're recommending approval of both, and so with that, I can turn it over to commission for questions. As you know, there are representatives of the school district here to answer your questions that I may not know the answers to.
Did your condition about the pre-construction meeting include attendee recommendations or anything, like you just mentioned verbally?
Sure.
Or did you not put that information in there?
Let me look. That would be on page 49. Under general conditions, the applicant or contractor shall hold a pre-construction meeting before starting any construction or grading activity. The applicant or owner shall invite representatives from the city, the watershed district, and private utility companies as noted on the project plans.
Okay. I wanted to make sure Watershed District was in that mix.
Yep. And what I found, we invite other agencies or other groups. If they attend, great. If they
Yeah.
can't make it, well,
Yeah,
we do the best we can.
kind of the required and the optional.
Correct.
Joining the properties was going to be one of my questions. You already answered that. Visitor parking, I'm curious about, well, first of all, there's the elimination of the one drive from the South Ave. And I'm assuming that it's a traffic flow solution as well as maybe a security component. I'm just kind of curious about the rationale for making that change.
I'm going to defer to the applicant's engineer, but I would agree that's for traffic flow. That seems to, so you don't have, yeah, I would think one less point of potential conflict.
Yeah. And I was curious about visitor parking, where visitor parking is going to be. And because it relates to the intent to do some security improvements and things like that. If there's somebody from the applicant team that could come up and speak, that would be much appreciated. Can you give your name?
Absolutely. I'm Caitlin Chambers. I'm an architect with Wold Architects and Engineers. To the previous question about the traffic flow off of South, so right now it's a one-way in, one-way out, which only allows 10 to 15 cars to stack on site. By eliminating one of those drives, it allows much longer queue length to get more cars off of South Ave. And then the last question about visitor parking, the south lot that is currently existing on the south side of the building off of Margaret is signed for visitor and ADA parking today, as that's closer to the main entry of the building, where students would be dropped off in the parent drop-off loop. That is just before and after school kind of entry point, but the main entry off of Margaret is where visitors would enter the building.
So if buses weren't present, they might park in that other lot or not?
The bus lot will be signed for buses only during the school day, so visitors would not be able to park
During
in the
that
bus
time.
lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Event, yes,
Okay.
evenings, weekends, anytime school's not in session, that would be overflow parking.
Okay, now, as far as the right turn lane into that parking lot, I work for MnDOT, and one of the things that I do regularly is review development reviews. We require that a right turn lane be available whenever you have 100 vehicle per day movement or more. And I would certainly expect that that drop-off lot's going to get at least 100 movements a day, because that's only 50 per morning and 50 per evening. So now, of course, it's county, and so you guys don't have to follow our requirements, but typically the county does, and, at least in most cases. So, has that something that you folks have looked at? Because that is the ability to get a tail of vehicles off the main road.
Yes, I don't know, Greg, are you able to speak to that? Because I know you've had conversations with the county.
Hi, I'm Greg Bukal. I'm with Larson Engineering. We're the civil engineer for the project. And yes, we did talk to the Ramsey County about that, because that was our first idea, to have the right turn lane and keep cars out the traffic and queue people back that way. And I'm not sure of the requirements or the criteria that they use, but they said that they wouldn't allow the right turn lane. They did not want us to do that. So that's why we decided to get rid of the one entrance and basically put the queuing inside the lot.
Like I say, that's unusual, but of course, the county can set their own standards. They don't have to follow them in dot. So, but like I say, that's why I noticed that. So,
So, quick question, as you think about that parking lot, how many cars are able to run through that circle that are moving off the road?
It's on a sheet, and I forget the number off the top of my head.
Is it on the bottom on the screen?
Yeah. it's on there.
Maybe my eyes weren't picking it up.
Yeah.
It's somewhere on there. C200? Parking.
Existing queuing says 367 feet, tilde 15 cars. Proposed queuing says 655 feet, tilde 26 cars.
So an increase of 70%, something like that. All right. I'm going to ask a silly question, but am I misreading the finished floor elevations that look like they're 6 feet 4 inches apart for the floor?
That is not correct.
That's a typo. It shows up a lot of places on every
For little
plan, I
kids,
think.
So they only need a,
They only need, little headroom. So just curious, what would be correct? Do you know?
The existing building has, it's kind of a barbell basement, so the main level is at, we'll call it 100, and then the lower levels are slightly different than each other. I think the existing floor-to-floor is under 12, and the addition will be 13'4" floor-to-floor, so there will be an interior ramp and stair system to transition on that lower level.
I saw the ramp, so that's why I was wondering.
And then a comment about the brick, just to clarify what Ken said. The main entry addition that was done in 2021, it's the same materials that'll be used on the new addition for.
Ken, I've got two questions for you. One is, I appreciate your point about the tree. Did you check with the city arborist about other tree possibilities? I did not. Okay. We still do have a city arborist, right?
We have forestry,
So, city forest, yeah, okay. And the other question I had was, I'm going off of memory, and at my age, memory isn't always that keen, I should say. But I don't remember that the sidewalks in front of the school are ADA compliant. So is that something that we can make the school district bring up to standard, or is that something that's on the city? Specifically, what I'm thinking about is I don't believe that there are ramps with the studs on them at where people would cross the street.
I don't
Like I say, I could be wrong on that, but I drive by there fairly regularly and I've not noticed it.
No, I think you're right. Yeah,
We maybe have the engineer talk about that.
yeah.
I think some of those sidewalks at certain locations do have those, but I can't attest to saying that all of them do.
Now, I'm thinking specifically about the intersection there at Margaret and South.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one on the school side in that corner does have one. The crossing of the drive for the new park, or the existing parking lot on the north is flush, so there isn't a need for one there. And then as you go south to the other areas, there are ADA ramps
Okay.
for near the south lot too.
I just wanted to make sure that they're covered.
Yep.
So, thank you.
So there's a ramp detail on one of the drawings, C500, but it does not have truncated domes, but I would assume that would be like at the building or something like that, but at the location where the public walk crosses the entrance drives, I'm wondering if they'll do the tactical there. Yeah, that, I mean, that, I think that's what's required, right? Accessibility-wise, I think they're supposed to be, where it's a public drive, I'm thinking about California, sorry, California, you'd have them all over the place. But in Minnesota, I think it's only where there's a public walk.
So for example, here where I'm circling, where this sidewalk crosses this driveway, or down here this driveway,
I can't see where you're
Can't see what
circling.
you're circling.
right?
Yes, those drives,
Right,
Yeah.
where the public walk crosses.
yeah,
Just for the same reason you have at a public walk at an intersection.
right.
The same concept.
And, yeah, I think down here he said that this will be flush, so there won't be ramps there.
Yeah, yeah.
But we'll, I wrote a note to make sure that we check that.
Thanks.
I have 2 kids at Cowern, and this is amazing. This is fixing a lot of issues that exist currently, so I'm really happy to see this. It's going to be great. So thank you guys for all your work on this for the school. The only question I had is just really curiosity. How are you going to handle what was the exterior wall on the rear side of the building now that it's going to be an interior wall?
So, down here,
Mm-hmm.
Yes, so there are floor plans in your packet that you all have too. Like you said, turns into an interior wall. I believe for the most part, it'll get furred out and treated like an interior wall, so there will be a gypsum wall kind of over the brick. In some locations, some of the existing brick may be maintained. Infilling some of those windows, otherwise keeping the windows to allow some of the daylight on the new addition come through to the existing hallway. So trying to be really mindful and keeping some of those existing openings and kind of the head height and daylight that was there. But for the most part, it turns into circulation and then a centralized media center. So not a ton of inbound classrooms because of the work. We shifted around some of the programming in the building to allow the general ed classrooms and all of the addition classrooms to have exterior daylight opportunities.
Excellent. Thank you.
Kaylin, does this show it? I put up a,
Does, yeah. So on the bottom of this plan, I'm gonna use my hands because I'm a visual person. This is the existing, the light gray is the existing exterior wall. So right here, part of that existing exterior wall is demolished, obviously, we'll restructure that. But otherwise, it just becomes either inside of a storage room. This is kind of circulation or flexible learning area outside of it. But all of the classrooms are kind of taking up the new exterior wall to bring daylight in.
Seems like it would be feasible to even keep some of that brick in some places, so,
So right here, I believe it will stay existing.
Yeah.
Or stay exposed.
Yeah,
just
that's
sort of
good.
The character of the building, but some of this stuff will get covered up just with other functions.
it's not our purview, but as architects, we, have to talk to you about it.
As a fellow architect, I agree, yes.
You can't ignore these things,
My son's kindergarten teacher was on, I think he said, some sort of design assistance board that, and he just said it was such a great opportunity and really appreciated having you guys listen to him. So I just wanted to communicate that too, that he thought it was a really good process.
It looks as though you've done a very comprehensive analysis and design. I mean, this is not just a throw a building addition on kind of a project. Quite obvious.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
you may want to call or I'll see if public.
That's
for
my
the
next
public.
step, because I think we're done with comments. I will open the public hearing at 7:05. And if there's anyone from the public wanting to speak, I see there's a person in the back there who we really want you to say something. Okay. So I don't think we have any public here to speak, so we'll close the public hearing at 7:06.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is a whole 30 seconds, 60 seconds, maybe.
I was gonna say, 'cause it's only 7:05:33 right now, so.
Are there any other comments, questions?
He rounded up.
I rounded up, yes.
Just for clarity, on page 16 of your packet, page 10 of the report is the, I guess what I call the motion for commission's consideration, the second paragraph,
I need to find page 16.
16 of 109, lower right.
I'm not in the right place. I'm looking at the packet, the,
Can I ask a question while you're thinking?
you absolutely, please ask a question.
So obviously, we've talked a little bit about the drive, the parking, and people coming in and out. I go, is there any issues that you guys are having with, people picking up the kids and the volume of cars coming in and out? I guess that's just a question, and,
Apparently there is.
because, going to 26 cars obviously isn't a big difference.
As somebody who lives near the school, it's an issue.
Got it.
Yeah. I avoid south
Yeah,
at school pickup time.
I do too.
Yeah. Oh, wait, I can't go that way.
So I guess having 26 cars in the parking lot, is that going to?
Yeah.
Is that going to create a big difference? in that
Yeah, I
time?
think it will.
Okay.
And hopefully with the redesign with the one driveway instead of two, the flow will be better. So you don't have people trying to do this.
And I think having the one opening is also safer for the students that are walking, because there aren't two areas where they could potentially run into a car. So,
So your draft motion is where? I can't find it. I must be looking in the wrong place.
I'm not seeing it on page,
Well, it's right before the attachments, page 10 of the report. It's
Page 16 of the PDF.
Well,
would you like me to read it for you?
sure, I guess so, because I'm looking at page 10 and
Oh,
and page 16 is one of the attachments, so I'm not sure
he printed it. I don't know if you've got it.
what I'm looking at a different page. It's the same content, I think, where the staff findings and recommendation is?
Yes.
Yeah, I see.
It's really the second paragraph.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
okay.
Staff recommends planning commission to recommend to city council approval of the proposed conditional use permit amendment and the site plan for expansion, remodeling of Cowan Elementary School located at subject to the conditions of approval listed in each of the draft resolutions, which were all spoken of
Yes.
in your presentation.
Well, most of them.
Yeah.
I hit the highlights.
And I would ask this of the commission, are there any conditions that you think we did not address that should be addressed? I didn't come up with any myself. In that case, I would entertain a motion to proceed as recommended by staff.
I'll make a motion.
Motion from Commissioner Rathe, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Wise. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. We are done with that.
We're scheduling this for the September 16th city council meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You don't have to leave.
There's exciting stuff after.
If any of you are North St. Paul residents, please stay and say something.
Well, they're all leaving now.
Thank you for your assist.
We're not popular.
I didn't know you were going to get rid of all of our guests so quickly.
Yeah.
We cover the important stuff first, obviously.
Clearly.
That's quite clear.
Ken, I'd like to go on record that I really do not like them not having a right turn lane there. So, I understand what they're saying.
It's interesting that they approached the county about it, and the county said, no, please.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And that's
That's
really what
curious.
makes me wonder whether their county person looked at that seriously or not.
Yeah.
But
I
Yeah.
will say that Richardson doesn't have a turn lane into their parking lot.
And
not.
my gut
do
feel
not.
is that,
And so my son goes to Harambe and Roseville, and they don't have a turn lane into their parking lot. So I'm curious if it's a school thing. I don't know, because I don't know many elementary schools that have turn lanes
No, and
into their
Yeah.
parking lots.
and that's true. It's not terribly common, but like I say, it is part of, we get our stuff from ITE, the Institute of Traffic Engineers, and they say that if you've got 100 people turning right into a driveway of any kind, you should have a right turn lane for safety reasons. So, like I said, that's the only reason I raise that and that I have a concern, because I know what it gets like over there when there's pickup, and especially the pickup in the afternoon when people are trying to sort through and kids are coming out at various times, and, it's more than chaotic than it is for drop-off. So, anyway,
good reason not to go there at that time of day.
Exactly.
You have,
Yes,
I have no choice.
you have no part
sorry.
of the party.
fortunately, I can go down 4th Street and turn at by the empty parking lot there.
Okay, let's go on to item, what would it be, 6B, the zoning ordinance text amendments. Ken, can you do your presentation for that?
Be happy to. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this is a continuation of our meeting and one of our topics from our last meeting on August 7th about amending the zoning code and clarifying the types of improvements the city will not consider to be encroachments in yard setback requirements, and also adds language to the code about expansion of existing structures that have non-conforming setbacks. And we worked through this quite a bit at the last meeting, again on August 7th. What you have before you tonight then is the ordinance language similar to what you had the last time, but I have noted the changes from the last meeting. I've highlighted those in yellow, so they pop out, and that starts on page 52 of the packet in the PDF. So for example, in pergola, the word, it was requested to put in the word permanent as part of the roof system, so I've highlighted that in yellow. Anything that doesn't have a yellow hasn't changed from the last time. It was all things that we'd all seemed to agree on. So then the next changes are on page 55 of the PDF. I deleted out the recreational equipment. I had proposed setbacks about swing sets and those kind of things. Commission didn't think that was necessary, so that is gone. In section 7, added in NFPA 110, and then the note about as those rules as may be amended. And then under covered but open porches, trimmed that way back. There was a whole bunch of extra words in there that the commission didn't think was necessary. So trimmed it down to what's there in yellow is what I would hopefully call the final version of that section. And then lastly, on page 57, in the talking about the additions or buildings with non-conforming setbacks, I had originally proposed that they be only regarding side and rear lot lines, and now at the request of the commission added in front yards as where a non-conforming setback could be maintained. But everything else is, again, the same. So that's a quick overview. Again, went through it quite thoroughly last time, so those are the changes based on the direction I had from the commission. And so the request for you tonight is discuss it, review it, and then the recommendation is, now this one has a more formal motion, to recommend to the city council approval of the ordinance amendment. that amends the standards for permitted encroachments and additions to nonconforming structures. And I will clean this ordinance up for the council, take out the coloring and that kind of thing.
Okay.
I wanted to put in the yellow and the highlight. So,
Are you, but you're retaining the underline,
yes,
that sort of
that
information?
has to say.
Track
really-
change, yeah.
The highlighting yellow will come out for the
Right,
council.
right.
But I added that, so hopefully it was easier for you to find the changes.
It is, and thank you.
Thank you.
I know reading all those words again would be. So that's my staff report and my recommendation.
Okay.
And it is a public hearing.
It is a public hearing. Are there any things to discuss prior to the public hearing? We'll open the public hearing in that case at 7:15. And the clock just ticked over to 7:16, so now I can,
There
since
is no
there's no one
public.
here, there's no public to speak, I will close it at 7:16.
Ken, I do have a couple of questions for items in here that we are not considering today. So what I'm wondering is what's the best way to bring those up? I think most of them are just questions, but it's like they're not pertinent to what we're considering right now.
So if I may, Mr. Chair, just to be clear, is it other parts of the zoning code that you think need clarifying, or other items that might fit into what this ordinance is?
No, other parts of the zoning code.
If we can talk about that after the actions tonight as
Yeah.
future
That's fine, thank
topics kind of thing.
Yeah, like I say, they may just be questions that you can answer, and they may
Yep.
not be anything worth
We
our
can do it under
time.
reports and that kind of thing.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair.
Could I ask one comment?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think this is the right venue, so I will say, would it be appropriate at this time to ask that if the planning commission approves this, before it goes to the city council, it would be reviewed by Mackenzie as well for code enforcement, and if she can't attend the city council meeting, that she provides her recommendation to the city council? In hindsight, I guess I wish I would have had her recommendation for this group as well.
Certainly seems like that.
But sometimes it's nice to have the people that are going to be enforcing this give us their blessing as well.
Absolutely in order.
Well, and if I may, some of these things would be applicable if we get an application in for a building permit. And
Exactly.
we're checking setbacks, and that's done through the zoning office,
Yeah.
not through code enforcement. Some of these things might come up if somebody does something that they shouldn't be doing, or without a permit, maybe building permit, or maybe planning and zoning would be involved, maybe the code enforcement. But I can certainly have her look at it. No,
If
not a
it's,
problem with
if something is done without a permit, that should have a permit, that's a thing, that's an enforcement thing. Or if something is done that doesn't require a permit, but it doesn't comply,
That could be a thing,
that could be a thing.
yes,
So those would both be enforcement components
yes.
that would be in order. I'm not sure how we put that into our recommendation to council. Just add it
Or
to
just
your,
direct staff to
okay,
have.
to have that review happen prior.
Correct.
So I guess my question is, if you're going to have them review it and there's something that is going to get surfaced, shouldn't we know about it before we make the recommendation?
My opinion is if you like the ordinance the way it's written and comfortable with it, you make your recommendation. If code enforcement comes back and says, whoa, wait a minute, there's,
Council can change it.
right, or if it's bad enough,
Yeah.
big enough problem, we bring it back and talk through
Yeah.
that before going to council.
But
I'd like to think there won't be any landmines, but Jason has a good point, let's catch it earlier than.
Yeah.
And personally, my thought would be is if it gets before council and code enforcement has a problem with one section, I would recommend that council approves it, striking that one section, refer that one section back to planning commission, and ask them to be in attendance and approve everything else. That would be my thought process going forward if there is a big hiccup.
Or convert, or alternatively, council could just table the whole thing,
Yeah.
send the whole thing back. But I will make sure code enforcement gets it tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Assuming you're recommending approval.
I'm just looking at the fastest way to move it through the process, because if they bring something back, I would want to know, as a team, I think we would want to at least know about it.
No,
If there's not an issue, I mean, again, me respectfully, let's move it through the
And
process.
if it's minor, council can just change it in process as part of their approval process.
Or staff can.
If it doesn't really warrant coming back to planning commission, so.
And I'm just trying to make sure I'm respectful to the boots on the ground that are enforcing this.
I am absolutely
Yeah.
respectful of that because
That's a good thought.
the reason we do what we do is we have to choose what we want to try and enforce. So the enforcement is an issue. So, okay. Excellent. Well, I would entertain a motion to recommend to council based on that discussion.
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Commissioner Muhic. Second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Gadbois. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None.
Is that the rain?
It's raining
Is
outside.
that the rain or the HVAC?
I think it's HVAC.
It was raining outside earlier.
Well, I have an umbrella. I think what he's hearing is HVAC.
It was a soft rain, so
Oh,
unless it's
might be.
intense.
But,
We'll have to look at the radar. Well, anyway, thank you.
okay. We are to item
59.
C. Not 59.
That's the page we're on.
And obviously the pages, well, see, I have to confess, I'm looking at the parts of the packet. I'm not looking at the whole packet.
Yes.
So when you're referring to page numbers, it's not relating to, that's what I figured out.
I'm looking at page 59 of 109, just for frame of reference.
Okay.
Oh, my.
And I'm looking at the printed page, which
Go
has
for it.
no bearing whatsoever as to the numbers that you guys are using.
I'm just playing a game here.
I'm looking at page 59.
All right, enough of that.
Would you like a staff report?
Ken, would you do the staff report?
So this, again, is another item carried over from our meeting in August. It's the proposed update to the subdivision ordinance. And since the last meeting, there were, I think, a few comments from the commission. I had a few final comments from our city attorney and the city engineer. Nothing really, they're more technical in nature, nothing that changed the intent or the process or anything. I did confirm with the city attorney that the language on pages 43 and 46 of the ordinance will meet the requirements, in his opinion, about park dedication and being consistent or conforming with recent state court findings and court actions as outlined in the report. So that's really, and then the one difference in this version that you now have, it's now in ordinance form with the city of North St. Paul at the top and all the repeal and replace. So this does repeal and replace the entire chapter 153 of the code. It's a whole brand-new code. It's about 3 times the length of the existing code, but it's much better for the city. Not that we'll have major subdivisions, but if we do, we're prepared for them. So staff's recommendation, again, which is in the recommendation section, is to have a motion to recommend to the city council approval of the ordinance that repeals and replaces chapter 153 of the city code, which is the subdivision regulations. With that, I'll take questions.
So just to clarify for those who are enjoying watching us online, a great majority of this was based on compatibility from a legal standpoint with state ordinance, or state statutes. And so that's, I think it's important to understand that that's really kind of what drove this.
Yes.
Which you said it, but I like to try to be clear about that for the public who's going to speak during the public hearing.
Right. And also a lot of input from the city engineer, because there was many parts that were, his opinion, lacking. So those were two of the big proponents of updating the code.
Yeah. Any questions, or we've covered this before, so. Okay, then we can open a public hearing at 7:25. And since there isn't public here, 30 seconds later, we can close the public hearing. If there's no other questions, I would entertain a motion to make the recommendation to council to proceed as recommended by staff.
I will make a motion to proceed as recommended by staff.
A motion from Commissioner Rathe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second from Commissioner Wise. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And nays? We are unanimous. That's what's on the agenda. Is there other business?
A couple of things, if I may, Mr. Chairman. Reminder for the commission that all your actions and duties and interactions are subject to state open meeting law. So for example, what I would call serial emails, where one person emails and then another one, that violates open meeting law. Can't do that because that's creating a meeting when you have a series, one person to the next person to the next person, or similarly, if you send one text message and it gets sent, or if you send a text message to the whole group, that's
It's not an open meeting, then.
correct.
You do that.
And if somebody questions it or challenges it, they may want to look at your phone or your computer, your personal one, and for who knows how long.
Yep.
So just be careful of that. If you can have one-on-one conversations, but not group conversations.
Wasn't,
Question on that. If we sent the same message to each individual, would that create a problem with the Open Meetings Act? So let's say I have a point that I want to make outside the meeting, and I send it as a single message to each person here.
Seems to violate the intent, but if it's one-on-one interactions, just, I don't think it violates it. But that's what the meetings like this are for, is to
Right.
have those
I
conversations.
mean, I would,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. If
I can't
there's
see the
that
need-
kind of topic,
Yeah.
then you might raise it in a message and say, hey, by the way, we should talk about this, and kind of leave it at that, because then you put it into the meeting agenda.
Right.
wasn't that part of the conversation we had a couple years ago with our legal counsel, revising some of the things we should or shouldn't do as planning? That's what I recall.
Yeah, the open meeting law it's an important thing that
Yeah.
we need to pay attention to. And I think I will commend the council. Jason, since you're here, you can pass this on to council. I know my wife and I have both talked about how our city council has really tried to be very, very transparent, our current council. And that's really appreciated. I think it's really important, and I think our city doesn't necessarily have a history of being that transparent. And I think it's terribly important that the public know what we're doing to the greatest degree possible.
Agreed, thank you.
So-
It is very important.
Yeah. Keep it up.
One other thing I want to just mention for the commission's benefit, the home occupation ordinance amendment that we worked so hard on, that was approved by the council on August 19th. No changes. So that's now in effect.
Good.
That's all I have for reports. I don't know, Jason, if you want to touch on anything? Recent council stuff.
No, I mean, past the last recommendation, and just want to say thank you. I feel I got lucky getting this commission, and you all do excellent work, and the work you do is so thorough. Once it gets to city council, there isn't much contention, so just thank you. You don't hear this often enough, but your work is appreciated. And since this is a planning commission, I suggest everyone plan that the Fall Festival is on the 13th, or I'm sorry, the Autumn Arts Festival is on the 13th, and the Fall Festival is on the 20th. if you would like to plan to attend.
What's the thing on the 20th?
The Autumn Arts Festival is the one on the 13th at Casey, and then the Fall Festival is at, my mind blanks, the church.
St. Peter's.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Peters.
What day of the week is that?
Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Sunday night, yeah.
Is it on Sunday too?
The one on the 20th is the St. Peter's Festival. Just got a flyer in our mailbox today.
Ken brought up a good point. There is some discussion about the community center on what its future is. And I do expect that will be hitting this commission before any, final decisions are made. So it's something to look forward to. And again, thank you for all your hard work. And I know whatever comes before you will be thoroughly vetted.
So did you say that what they decide is going to come here before it goes to city council? Did I just hear that correctly?
Council
Well,
is working on it.
My,
know they're
my
working
under-
on it.
my understanding, and I might need Ken on help on this, is any structural change that is over a certain amount of money has to come before the planning commission. So let's say, I'm gonna pull something out of left field. Let's say we wanted to make a Renaissance castle where it is. If the change for that property meets a certain threshold, my understanding is it has to come before the planning commission before it could be a final vote at the city council. Am I correct in that understanding?
Mr. Chair, members of the commission, I think what he's referring to is any major change to an approved site plan needs to go through the zoning review, just like we did with the school. Similar kind of thing. We're not there yet. What the council's, for lack of a better term, wrestling with right now is they've agreed to not go forward with any further study of the site because of the cost of the building, cost to maintain it, cost for the improvements that need to be done. So now it's, what does the city do with it? Do we offer it up for sale? Do we try to reimagine it for something else? And those are decisions that I expect will be coming eventually through the council in the next 6 to 8 weeks at the most. Because one of the options is the city got grant money of $4 or $4.5 million from the state in 2023 for the cultural center and that, I don't remember all the terms. The study done by the consultant said, that's financially, it's just not going to work. You're probably not going to be able to get the tenants, get the cash flow, plus make the improvements to the building. And so the city has said, the council vote was 4-1 to send that grant money back to the state with the understanding the city can ask the state to reallocate that money or ask them to reallocate that money to some other public use within the city. And that's one of the next steps the city needs to figure out. Do we want, as a city, use it for a water tower? Do we want to use it towards park improvements? Do we want to use it towards street improvements or some other public thing? And the state has to agree to that. And we as a city, I'm saying we as a city, if we send the money back and say, we're not going to do this project, but please can we reallocate it for something else? The state may say, yeah, okay, or they may say no, because there's no guarantees. So that's one thing that needs to be decided, because that would have to go back to the legislature, and they're going to convene in January. Really, I think ideally we'd have that decision made by the 1st of December. Representative Lilly has said that he will help guide that request for whichever way the city decides. So there's still a lot of moving pieces. Stay tuned. Another factor is the library. The library's part of the building. There's a lease. Is there a lease? There's some question about that. Does the library need to stay? Can the city find another spot? Brian and I and Dan are trying to set up a meeting with the library staff, hopefully by the end of the month. They don't seem to have a sense of urgency that we have. Are they open to other spaces? Are they not? So that's one factor that plays into this.
Yeah, I'm sure you folks have seen the online stuff that I've seen where some people are saying they're closing the community center, so North St. Paul is losing their library, it's going to go away.
Well, I'll
And-
tell you, we've been watching the whole community center
Yeah,
progress, and I will commend council and staff significantly. There's a lot of work that's going into that. It is not a simple solution any way you look at it. No matter what, it's a lot of work. And I think council is trying very, very hard to make decisions that are good for the community overall and not just for the few. And that's a tough thing to do. So and staff is working really hard on it. And that I was at the last council meeting and it was very evident. There's a lot going on and really trying to get the pieces put together and ducks in a row, if you will. And we saw some of those same things online.
yeah,
And I think there are a lot of people that are less informed
yes,
about realities.
exactly, yeah.
There's a lot of assumptions being made. When they've had open houses and things to talk about community center, 20 or 30 people show up out of a community of 12,000. You don't hear from a lot of people that way. So I just would encourage, whenever you're out on the street and you're talking to people, get involved, know what's going on. And it will inform the council to make good decisions. So anyway, Commissioner Muhic, you had raised a question earlier about other zoning ordinance
Changes.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have anything particular in mind that you think we should be addressing that we haven't?
No, I don't know that it is anything for the commission to address.
Okay.
There's some wording things, for example, I'll just give you one. The relationship to other laws and regulations, that paragraph is confusing, and I wonder whether that takes into consideration the chance that we could have, I don't know that we do, but that we could have a covenant or deed or restrictive that might say that this property shall not be sold to blacks or Jews. And so, do we, for something like that, do we need to change this slightly so that it says that comply with current laws or something to that effect? Because we're saying in here that that we are not intending to repeal, aggregate, annul, or in any way impair or interfere with private restrictions on a property by deed. But if that's written into the deed, because that was what was done in 1933, is that saying the city's,
Is the city part of I know there's a project to take those covenants off.
Yeah.
Is the city of North St. Paul involved in that? Is anyone in the city? I guess I haven't looked at,
That I'm aware of, no.
okay.
like I say, I don't know that it's a problem out here.
Yeah,
But on the other
I
hand,
don't know either.
Minneapolis, St. Paul, and some of the other near-in suburbs are dealing with that now, and
Yeah.
so if we're, as I was reading through
You're talking
this.
about hidden statutes, if you will.
Yeah.
Things that we
Well, there's-
don't necessarily know
Yeah,
that exist.
Exactly.
there's, the racial covenants aren't.
So, like I say, it doesn't apply at all to
If
what
you
we were
find them,
talking
bring them up. That'd be
So-
great.
about.
I would think that, if there is something that's appropriate in that regard, I don't know, something to think about. Yeah. I mean, not like you have enough to do, Ken.
We want to do it correctly.
We always want to do it correctly. All right. Are there any other reports? Anybody have anything else? There is, there's another event, you mentioned that the Fall Festival at St. Peter's on the 13th, but there's another thing,
St. Peter's is the 20th.
St. Peter's is the 20th. What's the thing on the 13th?
Autumn Arts
The
Festival.
Autumn Arts
The
Festival.
Autumn Arts Festival. Okay, that's
And then don't we have something on the 18th?
There's the
too?
parade on the 18th.
Oh,
Read
that
on
too.
the
Yeah,
eighth.
I mean,
A fall parade. I don't remember what it's called exactly.
Roundup.
Roundup. That one.
Yep,
And Booyah on October 5th.
and Booyah in October. Yep.
They're going to start taking orders tomorrow or Monday. Pre-orders for the Booyah.
Really? Last time I went to Booyah, there, I was getting the dregs, and I was not there late. But the lines get really long, so watch out. Get there early with your containers.
That's why you pre-order.
Yeah, I know,
Well,
exactly.
they supply the containers here.
Yeah, it's a really interesting event, but it's great because
And
it's a
secret
fundraiser.
recipe, I've asked, they won't share it.
No, they'll never share a
Varies
recipe.
from year to year depending on what they can get their hands on.
Yep,
Why is a secret?
That's the secret.
that is the secret.
I verified there's no roadkill.
No. No, I think, I have in fact watched them begin the preparation, and I think they use good stuff. It's
I was
quality
thinking
food.
more like stone soup, if you
Yeah.
remember that old child.
Yeah, it's quality food. All right, I guess we're up to adjournment. Someone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Oh, we haven't checked with everybody to see if they hadn't.
Well, I did, but
Okay.
you've already
I-
spoken your piece.
I've spoken my piece too much tonight, so.
Anybody else?
I would like to thank the fire department for hosting a blood drive this afternoon.
Oh,
So
good.
I partook. It
They're
was,
going to try to do that quarterly.
okay,
Yeah.
good.
Heard a report that after the shooting in Minneapolis, the Memorial Blood Bank saw a 400% increase in donations, which I guess from that perspective is good news, but that was a lot of bad news that we're living with there, so. Okay, motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
from Commissioner Rathe. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Gadbois, I'll give it to you.
All right, I was first.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 7:42.
Thank you all.
Thank you all.